So we're driving in my Audi R8, which it wasn't really my dream car, but the Lamborghini was always my dream car when I was a kid. But then when the R8 came out, I was like, oh, I really like the look of that R8. And so basically, it was a supercar that I was really after. Like, I kind of viewed the supercar as like the epitome of like, you've kind of made it. And while I was doing all this spiritual work, there's this recognition, and I knew that there would be nothing that I added to my life that would really make any difference. Like, adding a supercar wasn't going to solve the reason that I needed a supercar. But before we get into that, what I want to talk about is like what it took me to get to a place where I could buy a car, and like how much it cost me and all that. And so I think the biggest takeaway for me to get to the point of having the supercar was I've been running my own company since I was 16 years old. And I didn't get to like the level of wealth that could afford this car until I was like 42, right? So you can do that math, and I think that's what most people need to recognize about business. It's slow, and then there will be a moment where like your income will hockey stick, and you might be able to buy some of these luxuries like these cars and stuff. And the most important thing is to not do it before. Now there was probably moments in my career where I probably could have got away with like financing this thing or whatever, and made it work. But I in some ways was able to like delay that gratification a little bit, which is not really like my strong suit. I'm like pretty much instant gratification kind of person, and that instant gratification that I seek a lot is at a detriment. Oh Jesus, big bumps in the car. Is at a detriment to like building really real wealth. And so buying the supercar was like the be all end all for me, and I actually knew that it wasn't going to change a thing, but it was almost like I had to like prove it. Not even prove it. It wasn't even a proof. It was just like, yeah, I guess it was proof. It was like, let me just really see if this supercar isn't the answer, right? And so the weird thing is that happened when I bought the car. In the first 2 months, of course, it's cool because everyone is like looking at your new car. Oh, that's so sweet. And it was kind of like that scratch on the back of like, hey, you made it in some regards. But after that period wore off, the recognition was that it's just a car. Like, there's nothing else about it. It doesn't change anything that's going on inside you. Like, not a single thing. All of that patting on the back, all of the looks you get when you drive by people, it fills the void temporarily. We'll get into what the void is. But then it doesn't do it anymore. And so it's like, it was maybe only 2 months of like, it gave me what I was looking for, and then it went away. And I knew that was going to happen. I literally fucking knew it, but I had to go and spend $150,000 on a car to have that really actually shown to me. And like, that's kind of like what happens with spiritual growth sometimes, is that you can read it, you can have mentors tell you, you can go to retreats, you can hire a coach, but sometimes you just have to go out and do the thing for yourself to make the transition to grow, to be able to transcend it. And so what happened for me now with this car is, it's actually because I got the thing that I had always wanted. It was the final nail in the coffin of desire for me. Like, I really have no desire for any material possession anymore. And like yeah, nice things are nice, and don't get me wrong, like, I'll continue to buy nice things, but I am no longer trying to buy nice things out of a need to fill up something inside of me. And so then the question was what did I think this car was going to get me? And if I really think about it, I think it's like, what I thought it was going to get me was like proving to everybody that I did it, right? Like, that's what I was trying to solve. But like I said, the car only solved that for a couple of months, and then that need to prove was still alive inside of me. And so by getting the car and recognizing it wasn't the car, it allowed me to do some deeper work on why I need to even prove it anyways. And in doing that, it brought me back to those things that I thought I was free of, which was like those moments in my life where I wasn't smart enough, where I wasn't good enough, where I didn't have enough, right? Where I was less than. And I had to do some deeper letting go work on really letting go of that pain I experienced as that kid, because obviously he was still hurting. The mind is still protecting from that hurt, so much so that I had to go out and buy this car. But after I recognized that the car didn't solve it, then I went to work to solve it for myself. And then that is the thing that, in combination with buying the car, that kind of like pulled me out of like this desire for anything. And yeah, I have new things, but it's like none of it is like because I need to prove to anyone or to myself that I did it. And so it's kind of really moved me into this place of like flow with everything. It's like things seem to flow a little bit better. Well, of course there are still issues, and business is difficult. There's challenges all the time, but without the pressure of needing to prove, things move like a lot smoother. And so I guess like to wrap this whole thing up is I can tell you that the supercar is not going to do it for you. It's not going to change who you are, all of the problems that you have, all of the feeling of inadequacy. It's still going to be there after you buy the car. And so if you don't solve for those feelings, now, then it will continue to be a driver in your life, which will continue to create like stress and all kinds of other problems that limit you, right? Like the needing of this car, the needing to prove is a huge limitation, because potentially I bought this car too early. I probably should have waited another 10 years to buy the car where, we're at 10 million bucks in the bank, and it wasn't so like, it's almost like a burden, this car. It's like you got this $150,000 thing in your garage that you're not even driving. It costs you $5,000 a year in insurance. And you're just like, wow, there's money that could be doing something for me, and it's just sitting there. And so yeah, that provingness and that unhealed inner child created a huge limitation to my wealth, kind of going through the roof. And if I look back at my whole entire life, like that was what it was like my whole entire life. Now, I wasn't doing it with super expensive stuff because I didn't have enough money to buy that stuff, but I was doing it with like spending habits. Like I was the guy that bought everybody drinks. I was like the party guy. I was the guy that was like always having to, have the new thing. And because of that, it's like I didn't invest my money properly, right? And so I always had to go and make more money. And that pressure was like, eventually we'll just burn you right out. So the long and short of it is the supercar is cool for a super short amount of time. And then you have to still do the work to transcend whatever it is that's you're trying to solve from within. That's it.